learned about natural methods of vegetative propagation. Now we shall see cutting, grafting and layering. These come under artificial methods of propagation. We shall see all of them one by one. Cutting is a method of asexual reproduction, artificial method in which a parent plant or roots, stem or leaf is cut and a new plant is grown from it. It is kept in an artificial medium wherein here you are seeing an example of hibiscus. The stem cutting, here the stem is cut and if it is kept in a suitable medium, roots will grow and then it will give rise to a new plant. This is one method. Next we are seeing grafting. In this we are using two different plants. The plant part one which is in contact with the soil, which you are seeing here, this will act as a stalk. The other part will act as a scion, which will be the second above part. So here you are seeing that the stalk of this plant, this is the stalk, and the scion of this plant is joined together and then if from it is grown a new plant. This is a method of grafting and these methods we are using in horticulture for growing of fruit plants like citrus, mango and apple. Now we are seeing types of grafting here. Bud grafting. The part of the plant which is in contact with the soil is stalk and an insertion T-shaped is made. Bud of the scion is taken and inserted here. Approach grafting. Two different plants, they are brought together and joined. The picture that we saw earlier was an example for approach grafting. Tongue grafting. Stalk and scion are of same thickness and oblique cut is made and inserted and we get one new plant. Crown grafting. Thickness of stalk and scion varies. Stalk is thick, scion is thin and then incisions are made on the sides and their new part of the plant is inserted. The picture that we are seeing here is an example for crown grafting. Then wedge grafting, stalk and scion are of same thickness but a wedge-shaped cut is made and inserted. Around that a cloth or a thread is wound and the new plant we are getting from this. So these examples are of grafting. Layering. Here we are saying that from the same parent plant, the flexible branch is bent down and the tip of the branch is raised above and then from this part new roots will grow. So layering is a method where from the parent plant roots are developed and a new plant grows. So this is an example of mound layering. This we usually see in jasmine and all, this type of layering is done. Air layering, in this a girdle of the parent plant, this is a parent plant, girdle means a small incision is made without losing the cambium and a mud soil, moist soil is wound around it and a polythene is tied around it because here only roots will develop. So the picture that you are seeing is of a guava tree where air layering is done. In this, from this part roots will develop and that can then give rise to a new plant. So these are the methods of artificial propagation. So the plants, the new plants that are produced will be genetically uniform to the parent plant or the desirable characters like disease resistant or high yield. We can get the desired characters from these methods of cutting, layering and grafting. Sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, it involves two processes, gametogenesis and fertilization. Gametogenesis means production of gametes, male and female gametes, and then fusion of these gametes involves fertilization. So in short we can say in sexual reproduction of higher plants there are three stages: pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization changes. In plants, flower is a modified shoot which is meant for reproduction and we know a flower consists of four parts, four main floral parts: petals, first we can say sepals, petals, stamen. Stamen, it is made up of anther and a filament and a pistil which is made up of ovary which has vules and then style and then stigma. We shall study in detail how sexual reproduction takes place in higher plants. Pre-fertilization changes involves the development of the male reproductive part and the female reproductive part in plants. First we shall learn the development of the male reproductive part, androecium, which is made up of stamens. Stamens, you know, it is made up of anther and a filament. Now we shall learn about the development of the anther. An young anther has an outer epidermis and an inner mass of hypodermal cells, or a mass of uniform cells that will be called as the hypodermal cells. Some of the hypodermal cells get enlarged and they start functioning as archisporal cells. These archisporal cells again divides to form a parietal cell towards the epidermis and a sporogenous cells towards the inner side. This parietal cell again undergoes lot of mitotic divisions and it is responsible for the formation of the wall layers. From outside to inner side, it will form endothelium, middle layer and tapetum. The endothelium, that is the layer, the outermost wall layer, it has stomium. This stomium is hygroscopic, that is it absorbs moisture and helps in the dehiscence of the anther. So anther, when it develops, it forms or it gets into a four-lobed structure. This four-lobed structure, at the junction of this four-lobed structure only is present stomium, which helps in the dehiscence of the anther when all the microspores are formed. So now we have learned that the parietal cell divides and forms the four layers of the walls. Then the inner sporogenous cell. The sporogenous cell is responsible for the formation of the pollen tetrad or the microspores. We shall learn it now. This is an enlarged view of the microsporangium or the well-developed anther, four-lobed structure. The connective which is present between the two lobes at the junction of the two lobes, outer epidermis, and these are the wall layers. And these wall layers here it is very clear. Below the epidermis is present endothelium. Endothelium has stomium, then 2 or 3 layers of middle layers, and then tapetum. Tapetum is the layer which is going to nourish this microspore mother cells. The mother cells are formed from the sporogenous cells, microspore mother cells which are going to give rise to the microspores. And above this, the tapetum also has the function of producing many proteins and also is responsible for the fertility or sterility of the microspores that are going to be formed from the microspore mother cells. A mature anther having 4 layers: epidermis, endothelium, middle layers and tapetum. Inside a sporogenous mother cell, the sporogenous mother cell undergoes divisions, mitotic division. It will be diploid in nature and it will give rise to 4 haploid microspores. Here you are able to see the tetrad 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 haploid microspores. Each will be haploid in condition, whereas the pollen mother cell is diploid in condition. Example, in garden pea, there are 14 chromosomes, that is in diploid condition. Haploid condition will be 7 chromosomes. So each microspore is having only one set of chromosomes, that will be called as haploid condition. So the formation of the microspore from the pollen mother cells is called as microsporogenesis. So this pollen mother cell undergoes meiosis. So number of the chromosome number is reduced to haploid condition and a tetrad is formed. That is 4 microspores joined together. And now here we are seeing that each tetrad, this is each tetrad, is having a nucleus and a wall. Now each tetrad undergoes again development and then it is in the central vacuole is formed and the nucleus of this tetrad or uninucleate single microspore, it undergoes mitosis. Now it undergoes mitosis to divide into two nucleus, that is the vegetative nucleus and the generative nucleus. But when a layer is formed around the generative nucleus, it will become two-celled stage. This cell will be called a generative cell and a vegetative cell. So at this two-celled stage only, pollens are liberated from the anther. So in 60% of the angiosperms, at this stage only, the pollens are liberated from the anther and they are ready to fall on the stigma for further fertilization. And then in some plants what happens is that this generative cell again divides and it forms two sperm cells. So now it will be called as a tricellular pollen. In some plants the pollen it again divides and it is shed at this three-celled stage. So from microspore to development of a full mature pollen is called as a microgametogenesis. Microspore is the first male gametophyte, first cell of the male gametophyte, we can say. Difference between microspore and the pollen is only that the pollen is highly developed. After microspore, it is highly developed and has a dense cytoplasm and a central nucleus. That is the only difference between microspore and a pollen grain.